Peace to the family. We had a wonderful weekend of boxing this past weekend. You know, we had David Benavidez versus David Morrell. That was a hell of a fight. But before I jump into that, let's give a shout out to Claressa Shields. She did her thing against Danielle Perkins. Danielle Perkins, I think she's 42 years old at heavyweight. There's really not a lot of competition up there, to be fair. It may be like 5 or 6 fighters up there in heavyweight. But Claressa Shields did what she had to do. She won. I think she's 3 times undisputed, 3-division undisputed champion. That's not an easy feat. And I tell people all the time, I know people may criticize Claressa Shields because of the lack of competition, and that is fair. But I will say this here. If it was easy, everybody else would be doing it. So I think the highlight for me was the pull counter where she knocked down Danielle Perkins. She caught her with a pull counter. Hurt her a couple of times. I think what it was the Claressa Shields' footwork and hand speed is too much. When she sit down on her punches, she trade. She like to throw punches and bunches. She like to throw punches in between shots. She's not afraid to get hit neither. When you see someone that sit down and have that bite down, to throw punches in between your shots while you have heat coming back at them, that tells you everything you need to know. But Claressa, I think she's just too fast from a hand speed standpoint. But shout out to Danielle. Danielle, you did the best you could. You keep your head up. You will bounce back. But Claressa is the new heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed. And, it is what it is. So shout out to Claressa Shields. Oh, yeah, and I also did like the fact that you had Pat Poots with you. Yeah, I see you had Terrence Crawford and everybody over there with you. I think Darrell and everybody just showed up for you to watch you fight. I think that's good. You put on for the city. Good looking out. Now, I want to talk about the undercard. There's two undercard fights that I really like. Esau Pitbull Cruz. Listen, Pitbull, boy, let me tell you something, boy. Now, you're a one-dimensional fighter, but what I will say about Pitbull fought really, really good this past weekend. I forgot the guy who he fought. Never heard of the guy, but the guy he fought was a hell of a dude. He took a lot of good punches.
Well, it's hard to compare Fierro.
Wow. He didn't have a scratch on his face, and it looked like he hurt Pitbull a couple of times when they got late into the fight as well. But Pitbull was throwing haymakers, throwing bolo punches, 45-degree angles, overhand rights, looping everything. But what I liked about what you did this time, Pitbull, you was working your jab. You threw 1-2 right down the pipe. 1-2 punches right down the pipe. The 1 and the 2 right down the pipe. You very seldom throw straight punches. This fight right here, you was throwing jabs. You was throwing right crosses. Well, not just all haymakers, even though you were throwing a bunch of haymakers, but you was throwing bam, bam, 1-2 down the pipe. I like that. Pitbull, if you do more of that, that will make you a more better, complete fighter. Now, you are limited. You do have slow footwork and stuff like that. But one thing I will say, boy, you like the Tasmanian devil. The way he was hitting that dude with some punches, I was like, man, how in the hell this motherfucker right here, boy? That's a Mexican. I don't know how he taking all them goddamn punches. Pitbull, you were trying to tear that dude neck off. I forgot the dude's name. To be honest, I ain't gonna say he lied to you. I forgot his name. But bro, let me tell you something, bro. You was knocking that man. I don't know how he stood up to them punches. He took every punch you hit him with and some. But shout out to Pitbull, man. You did good. I'm not gonna lie to you. Now you're gonna have a problem when you fight people who have footwork. If you get in the ring with someone like a Cool Boy Steph or whatever, which you won't because Cool Boy's too small. But if you get in the ring with someone who has great footwork, they're gonna give you the business. Unless you can catch him with a haymaker. If you catch him with one of them haymakers, one of them bolos, one of them bolo punches you be throwing, you're going to be all right. But shout out to Pitbull Cruz. You set the table for that fight card this weekend. And on another note, shout out to Cool Boy Steph. Cool Boy Steph, you did not look good your last 2 fights. But boy, that fight against Brandon Figueroa, I must say, that was the best I've seen you look in a long time.
He's in the second half of each one.
And doing my research, right hand by Fulton that popped.
One thing, Fulton's doing a great job of his control.
Oh, nice.
Your trap counter game was on point. You was fighting on the front foot. That was on point. You was working the jab real good. You was setting your shots up. You was setting traps. On the back foot, you was eating them alive. No Diddy. Brandon Figueroa, you did the best you could do, but you don't know how to work a jab. You lead with your head. You coming in trying to get close without working behind the jab so you can unload on shots. And Cool Boy was hitting you with uppercuts, check left hooks. Can't forget about the check right hook as well. Check right hook as well, because he was checking you with that right. Back up. You get what I'm saying? When you come on the inside, bap, straight left. Like he was catching you with so much stuff in the fight. And Cool Boy was pivoting. He was stepping around, pivoting, turning, stuff like that. So I just like the way Cool Boy looked. Cool Boy, I pick you to lose this fight. Not going to lie to you. I got to be real, but you surprised me. You looked a whole lot better this fight than you did the other 2 fights. Well, you did fight a new way. You lost that fight right there, but I'm not even tripping on that. But there was a fight that you had after that. You didn't look good, brother. You didn't look good at all. But you regroup and look like you're back. You look a lot stronger at 126, so we're going to see exactly what's up. Maybe you're getting your weight up under you, but man, your ring IQ was on point. You know, Philly held you down. You held Philly down. You came in there with the Timberlands. I'm like, is this nigga wearing Timberlands? Bro, you had Timberlands and cut-off shorts, even though I knew they were trunks and I knew that they wasn't real Timberland boots, but it's the optics. You know, just how you came in there. You came in there representing for the hood and you did your thing. Shout out to Cool Boy Steph. You proved me wrong. You know, the fact of the matter is this here. You just got Brandon Figueroa a number. You got his number. He too slow. He too predictable. He don't know how to make adjustments. And what you was able to do with your old trainer, because I think your old trainer was in the corner, as well as Boza Ennis, you learned a lot from your past mistakes. And now it just, man, you look real good, man. So shout out to Cool Boy Steph. You did your thing. On the last but not least, doggone David Benavidez and David Morrell.
Benavidez, the light heavyweight division throughout history, has been the scene of some of the most intense rivalries.
That was a hell of a fight. I can't even front. The Mexican monster is the monster. Y'all got to put some respect on his name. I do know that a certain fighter, a Mexican fighter, I ain't going to say his name, his fan base, y'all hate David Benavidez, but he is a Mexican monster. And I understand why your favorite fighter stayed the hell away from him. I do understand. But I will say this. Shout out to David Morrell. You did good. You held the count of yourself. You fought. You hit David Benavidez with some hell of a shots that you normally would have knocked other people out with. He ate them shots pretty well. You hurt him a couple of times, but it looked like he hurt you a couple of times as well. You did score the knockdown in the 11th round, but the thing is, David Benavidez, he set the tempo real early. He kind of pushed the pace a little bit, and he was letting his hands go a little bit more than you was. It got to a point in the fight that where you were just in the high guard, and you was letting David Benavidez hit you, catch you with uppercuts, and throwing hooks around the guard. David Benavidez is also pulling down your left guard and then hitting you after he pulled down your left guard. He'll pull down your left guard with his right hand and then hit you with the straight left. He was doing that as well. And he was doing it with his left hand and hitting you with the straight right as well. So, you know, some old vet tricks that you learn in boxing, old veteran tricks. So, and then even though you had your moments in the fight, you did, David Morrell, but you're going to learn from this fight. Now, I said this and I said this before the fight happened. I said if David Benavidez were to struggle or were to lose this fight, a certain fan base, I ain't gonna say their names, Cinnamon, certain fan base, they're gonna say, oh man, he lost to a dude that had 11 fights. They totally gonna ignore the Cuban background. They totally gonna ignore that this guy is pretty much a seasoned vet. He has an extensive amateur record, very similar to Lomachenko, not exactly like his, but I'm saying extensive amateur record, very similar to Marjamov, very similar to Beterbiev and all this other stuff, right? You know, he has extensive amateur records, but you know, they don't like David Benavidez, so they're gonna look for any reason to tear him down. And lo and behold, I was right. So basically, they're saying that, oh man, you beat a dude that had 11 fights and you struggled with him. Just imagine what's the name of do to him. We ain't gonna say his name because it's Lord have mercy. I do not want to hear any crying, and I don't want to hear these niggas coming over here with their male groupie stuff. Cause we know they act like male groupies. We do know that over their favorite fighters. They act like they want to give them some of that bussy. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But David Benavidez did well. You know, now that he won, he's not really going to get a whole lot of credit because he beat a dude that was 11-0. He ain't fought nobody. And I will say this, David Morrell did not have any pro experience on that level, but I think this was the best fight that David Morrell has had thus far, and I think this is the best fight that David Benavidez has had thus far, even though he did have Caleb Plant. The Caleb Plant was a good fight too. So we'll see what's up. David Benavidez is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the light heavyweight division. I still have David Benavidez losing to Beterbiev. I think if he fight Beterbiev with his style of boxing, he going to get knocked out. When I say he, I ain't talking about Beterbiev. I'm talking about Benavidez. So Benavidez say he want the smoke. I hope he get what he looking for, but I'm betting the house on Beterbiev. Bivol, I think Bivol is going to be a little bit too much for him as well from a boxing standpoint. He has better footwork. He holds the line a lot better, and he's not going to make the mistakes that David Morrell has made. I still believe that the creme de la creme of the light heavyweight division is Beterbiev and Bivol. I will say that. Of course, Beterbiev is the number one guy. He's undisputed. Whoever wins that fight, I'm hearing that David Benavidez is in line. So we're going to see. You know, you're going to have to fight on the Turki Al-Sheikh card in order to get that fight. I'm not betting a dime on you on it, but I got a lot of respect for David Benavidez. You and your father worked real good together. You did a great job, phenomenal job. Shout out to David Morrell. Shout out to Ronnie Shields. Y'all did a good job as well, but you just came up short. Other than that, that's it. I see you guys today. This is the boy Coach Malachi Williams signing out. True Media Podcast. Y'all support the movement. Send the super chats, send the cash apps. Y'all know what time it is. And I see you guys at 3 o'clock. You know my motto. Don't meet me there, beat me there. Peace. I holla.
Man, I'm out of here, bro. Let's go. Man, I'm out of here, bro. Let's go.